Greetings and salutations. Charlton66 here with another video. And like I do with most of my videos, I just want to thank everyone who's viewed and subscribed to my channel. I do appreciate the words of encouragement, kind words, good feedback. Like I said before, it does help validate, what I'm talking about, and that people want to hear it. So that's a good thing. I do appreciate everything everyone has said. On to a couple other things before I start with my main topic of this video. Catch up on a couple things. Before I talked about Smokey and its relevance to me getting into comic books, and I talked about the cover artist, George Gross. There's his signature right here on how he went on to do paperback covers for one of my favorite characters, one of my favorite pulp characters, the Avenger. And I said I was reading one at the time. I didn't have it handy, but I'm reading this one right now. And right here you can see, right here, his signature right there. So it was kind of cool that that I never realized that he did the cover work for Smokey back all those years ago, obviously, because I was just a little kid. But then when I finally got the issue and I saw the signature, I knew exactly where it came from. So I thought it was kind of cool on him doing most of the paperback covers of one of my favorite paperback series. So that was kind of cool. Also, the Illustrated Comic Collector's Handbook. I talked about that one of my earlier videos. Well, I finally located the first issue in my collection, so I wanted to show everyone the first issue. High quality fanzine with the staples along the side. But this is from 60. I think it's from 66. I think. But I showed you the other three volumes. This is the first volume for it. Yeah, from 66. And again, it has typesetting, different Golden Age characters, obscure Golden Age characters, the Finn, things like that. Like I said, it's worth having if you can find them, at a convention or at your store. By all means, pick them up. Hippie's Collectibles commented on one of the videos, and he has volume 3, which is pretty cool. It's got the Green Hornet on the cover. So that's all he needs is 3 more. So again, they're hard to find, but if you can get out there and locate them, by all means pick them up. It's just fun. It's a snapshot, like a lot of fanzines that I see. Obviously, from the 60s and 70s. It's like it's a time machine, because there's things they talk about that you only get that information through fanzines, and you'll find early artwork from artists that you won't even know about yet. I know John Byrne for CPL, that Bob Layton fanzine. John Byrne did artwork for it, and you just find artists that are not known yet in some of these fanzines. Letters from future comic book writers, editors, publishers. So it's like a time machine. It's a snapshot from that time frame of comic book fandom, back when people actually physically met up and stayed over each other's houses to talk about comics, to write letters, to make their fanzines, to do all this stuff. It's a labor of love. These guys were not making any money at it, but they wanted to get the word out about fandom. It's easy for us now, like we do with YouTube and videos and Twitter and everything else, to get our opinions out, to get the word out, to do that. But back then, they put out fanzines, they put out this kind of stuff to get out information, to readers, to collectors. And back then, collectors didn't know other people collected comics. You might have someone in any town, USA, loving their comics, collect them, and thinking, I'm the only one that does this. Little do they know, there's a whole network out there, a fandom that did the same thing, that wanted to get the word out and send out letters and everything else. And it was one of those. It was a different time. You truly love the comics, you truly love the medium, and you're doing things that's taking things out of your own pocket, that's taking your own time, because there's really no recognition for it other than other fans, like we do here on YouTube. Like I said, it helps validate what I talk about and what other people say and do. on the videos, how we respond and communicate with one another. It's getting that word out, and it's an appreciation thing. So fanzines are really cool to collect because it does take that snapshot of that time frame. There's fanzines that I have that discuss 1969 comic conventions that people like Jack Kirby and Wally Wood and Al Williamson are just walking around and just setting the tables and talking to fans, and fans are getting artwork from them and talking to them and everything else. It's not like it is now. It's not like you pay $300, $400 to go to a big show and to meet somebody, and it's not nearly as personal as it was then. So if you see fanzines, pick them up, check them out if you haven't never done so before. You'll find there's a wealth of information, and it does take you back. So I think fanzines are pretty interesting in that aspect. So one of the things I've talked about in my other videos is that I'm a big fan of second, third tier characters and groups and teams and and whatnot. And one of those teams that always strike, that level of obscurity, but there still is a cult following. It's like you mentioned the Thunder Agents. Everybody knows, well, I just say everybody, but someone's familiar with them. But there is a core fan base for the Thunder Agents, created by Wally Wood. It's for Tower Comics. And Thunder Agents was an acronym for the Higher United Nations Defense Enforcement Reserve. This is the first issue that I have in the collection for the Thunder Agents. My wife bought this for me many years ago for Christmas, and it's one of my favorite books. Again, classic Wally Wood cover, classic image of the Thunder Agents. You got Dynamo up here with the Thunder Belt, and you got No Man here, which is a android body that's possessed by the mind of Dr. Dunn. He can transfer himself from one android body to the next, so he's kind of invulnerable in that aspect. But he has a cloak that makes him invisible. You have Mentor here with the helmet that gives him heightened mental abilities, ESP, telekinesis, teleportation, that type of thing. But this is the first appearance of the Thunder Agents, Wally Wood. Again, it was kind of like a Charlton book where you had these top artists that were working there. You had Wally Wood, you had Dan Adkins, you had Al Williamson, Steve Ditko. All these guys were writing and drawing for Tower Comics for Wally Wood's Thunder Agents. And Dynamo's identity is Lynn Brown. He's an agent for Thunder, but Lynn Brown is also the writer of some of these comics. So they took the name Leonard Brown, and Lynn Brown took the name and used them for Dynamo. So this is the first appearance of them, issue 1. Another great Wally Wood cover, issue 2. This is the first 16 issues. It went up to issue 20. The last few issues, I'm trying to find them in better shape than I've been finding them in. So I still have a few more issues to go to complete the Thunder Agents run. But also, they had other offshoots. You had a Dynamo series, I think it was 4 issues. Undersea Agent, 3 or 4 issues. And you had Raven, which was 3 or 4 issues. You had offshoots of these comics. So all of them are 25-cent issues. You get a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak, back then, plopping down your quarter. Another issue 3, really nice shape on this one. This black cover, it's hard to find them in really decent shape here, but there's issue 3 with good old No Man on the cover with Mentor. This cover, I believe, is Reed Crandall. I can't say for 100% sure, but it's a great cover with the Iron Maiden there and Dynamo in action. Yeah, number 4, Double for Dynamo. Nice Wally Wood cover. Issue 5. Issue number 6, Demo. Great Wally Wood cover. Of course, the agents are without their weapons or their equipment. Dynamo doesn't have his belt, No Man doesn't have his cloak, and Mentor doesn't have his helmet. And about their gear, it actually was stolen. They actually stole it from Evil Doctor, and Thunder ended up using it, giving it to special agents to use. I thought it was kind of unique. They didn't invent it; they had to steal it from somebody else. But I guess that would really happen if you had an organization that went and took some weapons. They would end up using them. So I thought that was kind of funny. I don't know who did this cover. I'm thinking maybe Dan Atkins. It may be Wood. But here's issue 7. I think it's a great perspective for a cover. Number 8, another great Wally Wood cover, fighting the Overlord and his men. Number 8, Thunder Agents. Number 9, kind of a bizarre cover there. Number 9 of Thunder Agents. And this is one of my favorite covers by Al Williamson. And just the image of him picking up this hard slab of concrete with the lamp pole in it, picking up and throwing it. And the Thunder Belt temporarily gives him strength, density to his body, density to weight. He's pretty much invulnerable, but it takes its toll on his body, and the suit that he wears, helps him absorb the ill effects of his belt. But there's a later issue where it does take its toll on him, and the splash page that Wally Wood drew, which I'll show you in a few minutes, to me is one of my favorite panels of almost any comic series, because the title of the story is A Slight Case of Combat Fatigue, and you can tell he's wiped out. The way he's drawn, his body, his position of his body language, you can tell that Dynamo is pretty much beaten. Such a great panel. I'll show that here in a few minutes. But here's a great cover by Al Williamson. And Wood inked it. So what better team than that, right? Al Williamson and Wally Wood. Another nice Wood cover of the main ages. This is Lightning. He can run really fast. They did a story later on in Deluxe when they reinvented the characters of Deluxe Comics in the 80s. That's Keith Giffen did a story where, because he's running so fast, that it took a toll, and he aged much, much, much quicker. He was an old man because of the ill effects of his costume took its toll, and he became a very, very old man because he used his ability for speed so much. So it was a kind of a cool story. And the Deluxe comics of the Thunder Agents came out in the 80s, phenomenal. You had Dave Cockrum, you had George Perez, you had Keith Giffen. I think Ditko did some stories for him, but that was very cool because it kept the formula for Wally Wood's Thunder Agents. It kept the characters. Raven was in it, and it kept things going with, unlike what DC tried to do a few years ago with the Thunder Agents. The Deluxe comic series is very, very cool. There's number 14, Raven. Another one of the Thunder Agents. Obviously has a flight ability. Love the costume. Great costume. I think it's a Gil Kane cover. And Gil Kane also drew some of the stories. I know he did Undersea Agent, and he did some stories in Thunder Agents as well. It's a great cover if the monster didn't look so goofy. But the Gil Kane cover, great machinery, and the image of No Man slugging up that goofy-ass monster. But still, Silver Age, you gotta love it. And the last issue that I have that I'll go over today is issue 16. Right, the Thunder Agents. Number 16. Again, it's a fun series. It's for a Silver Age comic book series. It's relatively inexpensive. Much Silver Age stories go, but it's hard finding them because of the square bound volumes that they're in. It's hard to find ones that are not split or staples coming through in decent shape. So But it's fun looking for them. They're fun stories. Like I said, you have tons of creative talent working on that series. If you don't want to spend the time looking for them, DC with their archives put out a 6 volume set that reprints all the Thunder Agent stories. And that panel I was telling you about, they even use it on the spine of the 6 volume. And this is a story I was referring to. I mean, the panel to me, it really shows someone who definitely has had too much. And I always loved it. Again, it's called A Slight Case of Combat Fatigue. I mean, Wally Wood rendered that Dynamo perfectly there. You know, that you see the title and you look at the image, you feel it. You know, you're there with Dynamo and feeling what he's feeling with it, just with that panel. Phenomenal. And again, they used it. They had to use it for thought something more because they used it right here on the spine, which I thought was kind of cool when I picked the volumes up, and I saw it was on the spine. I thought that was kind of decent. And you know, again, Thunder Agents is still loved. There's a Thunder Agents companion right here, put out by Tomorrow's Publication. It's got a great cover by Jerry Ordway, and just interviews and talk about the different incarnations that they had with Deluxe Comics, JC Comics. They even appeared with Justice Machine, Penthouse Comics when they were actually was trying to put out, I believe it was Penthouse Comics, trying to put out a Thunder Agents by who was doing that? Paul Gulacy, I think. Yeah, Paul Gulacy was doing that, and then I think Omni tried to do another series, and Mark Texeira was doing the artwork on that. And a back issue, the February 17 issue of Back Issue magazine has a whole article of Thunder Agents in this. And no one's picking up Back Issue. If you're a fan of Silver Age, Golden Age comics, well, actually, Back Issue focuses on the Bronze Age. So, Alter Ego is for your Golden Age and Silver Age people who love that. And Back Issue, if you love Bronze Age comics, Back Issue is what you got to read. It's phenomenal. But again, a nice article and interview on the Thunder Agents. Here's the JC appearance of the Thunder Agents. They're kind of hard to find. I've come across them only by accident. And here's the deluxe Thunder Agents right here, which is awesome George Perez cover of the whole team, which is just freaking great. It's up there, man. It's like whoever has original art to this cover, kudos. Great image of the team. Dave Cockrum did it. Nice. Another George Perez cover with him and Iron Maiden and images of the team on the side, which is a great image there. But so many different comic companies try, their hand with the Thunder Agents, and just nothing ever sticks. I don't know why. They're a great team. I don't like what DC did with them a few years ago. I didn't recognize them as a Thunder Agents whatsoever, so I don't even count that. But do yourself a favor. If you like Silver Age books, you like obscure teams, by all means, go find your Thunder Agents and sit back, enjoy, and you won't be disappointed. So again, thanks for everyone for viewing and subscribing, leaving comments. I do appreciate it. And again, thank you, and I will see you back here soon.